we'll head over to West Bloomfield Township, where a group of environmental activists has come together in support of the trees and the wildlife in town, as a major hospital system is planning a large development on ecologically valuable land. The hospital says it's done its part to mitigate environmental factors. The group, Earth, out of West Bloomfield, disagrees. Joining us now is the co-founder of the group, Sally Wenczel, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Sally, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Tyler. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. So let's begin. Give us a little bit of background on how this all started, how the group came together, what this case is that is being discussed within West Bloomfield Township. Of course, it's gone through the Environmental Commission in West Bloomfield that recommended against many of the proposed plans, particularly the clear cutting of certain trees on the property at Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, and then also went through the Planning Commission, which made a contradictory decision to that recommendation made by the Environmental Commission. Can you give us some insight into this case, and then where your group tends to disagree with the decisions that were made by the West Bloomfield Township Planning Commission and the plans that have been proposed by Henry Ford Health System?
Correct. You summarized it well. And unfortunately, it has come a long way. It's really, the ball is in Henry Ford's court at this point. But the spark that really ignited the formation of Earth, which is the name of our group, Earth standing for Environmental Activists Rallying Together to Help West Bloomfield. We had to come up with a name pretty quickly because the group grew very quickly. As of last night, we have 49 members. And this is just on Facebook. However, we'd like to meet in person soon, and it's just growing. We're going to do more activities in the future. But yes, the spark was Tony Spikajny's resignation in protest of the Environmental Commission being overruled for the first time in its history. The recommendation of the Environmental Commission for a woodlands ruling was overruled, and he resigned in protest. And we thought, a few of us thought that spoke very loudly that something's wrong, something needs to be done. We started chatting on Facebook, and it's difficult in such an open forum. We decided to narrow down our forum to this group site called Earth, where we all had more common goals and less trolls getting in the conversation. So here we are. We are Earth, and we are promoting sustainability. I wrote a few things down here. And what is sustainability? It's meeting the needs of existing people without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. Sustainability is social, economic, and ecological. So it crosses all borders of a community. It should be binding a community together. And my message today is about unity. I'm bringing a peaceful message today about the fact that we do need to unify with common goals in this community. And I think that is the overall message of Earth as well.
Yeah, and so there was an article earlier this week in the Detroit News that highlighted this group's formation and gave some insight and gave some background information into the case that's proposed, the development proposed by Henry Ford Health System for a mental health facility on the campus of Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, where that case has been so far, the group's opposition, and more. And it very much does seem, from that context and from hearing from you and just from knowing some of the people that are involved in this, because full disclosure to those that are watching the Michigan Megacast throughout our network, Civic Center TV does broadcast all the Environmental Commission and Planning Commission meetings in West Bloomfield Township, and we do very commonly see a lot of these similar people that made these decisions. We see all these decisions being made. We see all the deliberation, and so that should be known as I'm discussing this with Sally, that we know the people that are involved in this. And so we also see from all that context, from all that information, from your group and from the discussion so far, that there is an antagonism there. there is a disagreement on the execution of this plan. Nobody is necessarily saying that a mental health facility is not something that would be beneficial to West Bloomfield Township, beneficial to the local area. It's the way that that's being executed is proposed to be executed that your group disagrees against. What are those disagreements? Where are those points, particularly with this plan, that are considered extremely detrimental to those involved in your group?
Correct. Yes, we are not opposed to a mental health facility. We are opposed to the way it's being executed and the footprint in which it will take up the location, the exact location. And from my understanding, speaking with representatives of the Environmental Commission, excuse me, there were other options. And we mentioned that in our letter that we composed as a group and sent to every single board member, or the ones we could find emails for, on Henry Ford Health System's Board of Trustees. And just want to get the wording exact here, that there were other options throughout this process in the timeline. Other options were discussed and other options were shoved aside as far as location. And those were presented to representatives of Henry Ford. And there were a lot of eyes on this project. There were a lot of eyes early on that could have pushed for these other ecologically friendly options rather than wiping out what looks like about 18 acres of mature forest, a mature ecosystem. This is an ecosystem, this forest with trees up to 200 years old, according to Derek Stradalek, the township forester. And where's this? I wanted to quote him from the article in the Detroit News. Derek Stradalek, this is our township forester. Pretty cool. We have a forester that works for the township, a scientist that specializes in this stuff. He said he's rarely encountered trees of this nature and character really anywhere in southeastern Michigan. And that's a pretty strong statement. So that, I don't know if when pen hit paper in the initial design phase, did the architect, did the designer have that woodlands ordinance in hand? Did they know what was about to be violated? This is a long-standing woodlands ordinance. It's been in place for 30 plus years. And it's really, I think, the backbone of this community, both the woodlands and the wetlands ordinances. This is why people move here, for environment, for nature. I'm digressing a bit now. I hope I answered your question, but yeah. Yes, there were other options. And we would like, at this point, since the ball is in Henry Ford's court, we would like them to open their hearts. Jane Goodall says you have to reach people's hearts. You know, all the technical, all the jargon, but you really have to get right here to get people to change their minds, to look at the long-term impact and long-term effects of what's going on here. This is not just a forest, this is a global forest. We share all of these resources. You know, nature really doesn't have boundaries. We own things, but we really don't, because we're all impacted. Just like that ad you had on a minute ago, we all share the same water. It's all, watersheds have no boundaries. Everything we do impacts our neighbor. Everything I do impacts the person next to me. So we're looking for Henry Ford to step up and really look at the impact on this community and be a good community player here, a team player.
We're joined by Sally Wenczel, co-founder of the activist group Earth West Bloomfield, joining us on the Michigan Megacast, talking about a development that's been proposed and approved in West Bloomfield Township to construct a mental health facility on the campus of Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. I want to give you, the viewers and the listeners, an opportunity for some context that you can soak in yourself from these cases. All of the minutes from these meetings, the agendas from these meetings, are available on wbtownship.org. Our flagship station, Civic Center TV, broadcasts all these meetings. You can watch each of these meetings, their full deliberation in the public record on demand on our website at civiccentertv.com. If you navigate over to our on-demand page and to meetings, the exact website, civiccentertv.com/category/meetings. And for context, the special meeting in which the Environmental Commission gave its opinions on this case, November 10th, 2021. The Planning Commission, November 23rd, 2021, and then a reconsideration on January 25th, 2022. Again, those minutes and agendas from those meetings available on wbtownship.org, the West Bloomfield Township website. Meeting video on demand available to the public on civiccentertv.com/categories/meetings. We're joined by Sally Wenczel from Earth West Bloomfield, joining us on the MegaCast, an activist group that is opposing the wetland and woodland impacts that this proposed project may have on the local environment. And so, what ultimately is the goal of your organization in this effort to not curb this project, but to modify this project, to reconsider the execution of this project? Should a dialogue be conducted between your group, Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, Henry Ford Health System, and West Bloomfield Township? Where does this group want that to go?
All right. Yes, it's time. It's going to take time. We're asking for a redraw. Look at your plans and look at the options that were set forth, the recommendation by the Environmental Commission, which was overlooked, to move the footprint of the proposed project. We're looking for you're going to have to reapply for your permits. We know it takes time. I've been there. I've done projects where you submit your plans. It's reviewed by the township engineer. It takes time. It comes back. Then you have to, fix this and submit a permit to Eagle. And then you have to, there's so much that goes on in a project. It takes a lot of time. And I think time is of the essence here for Henry Ford. They want to get this going. Of course, they've done a lot of work. It takes time. People have been paid to do this work. I understand. However, look at 200 years, okay? 200 years, these trees, this forest has been growing, and we're looking at a few more months of work here. I mean, if you're looking at the big picture, this effort, this redraw, this resubmission that we're looking for Henry Ford to execute is not that much time in the grand scheme of the big impact that this facility is going to have on that forest.
So based on the evidence that your group has collected itself, based on the testimony of those involved in the discussion of this project from West Bloomfield Township, that being the environmental consultant Derek Stradilek, the environmental manager John Royer, and then from the Planning Commission, it would have been either Gordon Bodell, the building director, and the zoning and planning manager for West Bloomfield Township, or Caitlin Hines, who also works in the zoning department, that often are discussing and providing information, just the base information, and answering basic questions of the board, and then, of course, these commissions. Based on all of that information, what is the belief of this group, of your group of Earth West Bloomfield, of just how severe the impact on the environment could be in the plans that are currently proposed and have currently been approved by the Planning Commission in West Bloomfield?
Okay, well, look at Google Earth. Look at a sky shot of West Bloomfield Township. There really isn't much forest left. We think we have a lot because when you are coming from downtown Detroit and spending an afternoon in the city and it's concrete everywhere, and you come out here, you think, wow, there's so many trees, but there really aren't. We have the West Bloomfield Woods Nature Preserve, the preserve behind the Township Hall, all the hiking trails back there. We have some other forested areas, but we really don't have a lot left. And the fact that we're slowly chipping away at this very valuable piece of ecosystem, this valuable woodlands, is frightening to me. I think it's a slippery slope. Yes, there are a lot of people involved in passing this through, And I think there might have been some pressure on the township because what Henry Ford is doing is technically not illegal. It's not illegal. This is a matter of character, being a good neighbor, and integrity. And this is a matter of addressing the fact that our environmental ordinance, the integrity of our environmental ordinance was undermined. And it's been long-standing for 30 years. And I think our group is looking to bring that integrity back by looking at this project again, redrawing it so that the footprint doesn't wipe out 18 acres of mature forest.
We're joined by Sally Wenczel. Oh, please.
Save the trees. Save the trees.
We're joined by Sally Wenczel, co-founder of Earth West Bloomfield, an environmental activism group that has formed in West Bloomfield Township in reaction to the proposed plans for a mental health facility to be constructed on the campus of Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, located just on Maple Road off of Drake Road in West Bloomfield Township in Oakland County. Joining us on the MegaCast again, all the information on this case from public meetings through West Bloomfield Township are available on wbtownship.org with archived video of these meetings at civiccentertv.com /categories/meetings, or just click on our on-demand link at civiccentertv.com where you can view all of these meetings. And those meetings, again, that you'll want to be viewing: November 10th, 2021 special meeting of the Environmental Commission, November 23rd meeting of the West Bloomfield Township Planning Commission, and the January 25th, 2022 meeting of the West Bloomfield Township Planning Commission, where this case was discussed and approved.
Tyler?
Yes.
I have a book I'd like to share.
Okay.
Before, I don't know how much time we have left.
You have a few minutes.
Sorry. Okay, so I got this for Christmas from my husband, and I want everyone to read it. So, Leadership for Sustainability. And this is something that crosses all the lines. And I just want to read real quick to you about just a little excerpt from here.
Okay.
That's all right. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Wicked situations exceed the capacities of any one organization and even any one sector. Solutions require stakeholders to collaborate despite vast differences in their values, assumptions, personalities, disciplines, professions, generations, cultures, and sectors. Most stakeholders are trapped in silos of similarity that are self-reinforcing and protectionist, accentuating differences that hinder efforts to collaborate across those silos. So I just really want to reinforce the fact that we need collaboration now desperately as a human species. We can't be separated. I want to go so far as to say we need regional ordinances. It can't be township and city by city. We need regional agreements because we are all sharing these resources. So I just really want to push. We have to come together. And another one, I visited the Redwoods in August, this past August, and they wouldn't be there if not for crazy wacko environmentalist activists like us. That is what saved the Redwoods. I picked up so much literature when I was out there, and those Redwoods would be gone had people not taken action and saved them. I know Henry Ford owns the property. It's their property, but have a heart, listen to the people. There is time to change this.
Sally, 30 seconds with you before we'll say goodbye. Has your group reached out to Henry Ford Health System to discuss this? And if so, has there been any response as of yet from Henry Ford?
We reached out. We've written a very formal letter. On our group, we have a climate change expert. She gives presentations to large corporations. We have a couple of lawyers. We've got Amy Mindell, who has saved the forest over, you need to interview her next. She saved the forest over at Orchard Lake Middle School by herself before she joined us. And together, that core group of us composed a letter, and we sent it to every single member of Henry Ford's Board of Trustees, as well as their sustainability chief. They actually have a chief of sustainability over there who I hope is tuning into this. His name is Chip Amo, and he is the HS Director of Systems Sustainability. So we have reached out directly to him, and all of the all of the influencers over at Henry Ford. I don't know that we've heard directly back from any of them, but I think that their ears are ringing. So let's hope that we get some responses. And thank you for hearing our voice.
Appreciate it, Sally. If people want, very quickly, if people want to get involved with Earth West Bloomfield, how can they get involved?
Sure. Right now, we are maintaining our group on Facebook alone because it grew so fast, and it's a really great platform to discuss and share information. So you can go to Earth, capital EARTH, West Bloomfield. And we've been posting things on the Citizens Facebook page. And so far, we're just online, but we're hoping to have some in-person meetings in the future and maybe even have a letterhead one day. So, and a logo. That would be nice.
Sally, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tyler.